Bam! There we are.
There we are. What's up, brother?
What is up? So I guess this is technically our last Friday for the year.
This is our last Friday for the year.
This is the year-end show.
This is the year-end. This is the year-end show. Absolutely.
It's the end.
Absolutely. We're pulling the ripcord.
Yes. However, it is the year in review.
It is the year in review.
Yes. And we were just talking a second ago, and I'm like, I'm super. It's this weird thing where I have my crazy puritanical work ethic, where it's like, okay. When everybody else takes the day off, you gain ground.
Right.
Yes. And it's like, that just excites me to no end. So like Christmas Eve of last year, I was dialing in the website, like the aesthetics, and it was like, best Christmas ever, and it's like, I don't know where that comes from, dude.
Yeah.
But I just lean into it now versus thinking like, oh, something's wrong with me or whatever. And so I was just telling you, we are poised to next level on everything in 2026. But that brings us to, so how was your 2025?
Right.
How was it? How was it for you? For you, what do you think?
For me, really, it was. I was like, is this a rhetorical? No,
it was a rhetorical segue.
It was great. It was great. No, we had a great 2025, and very excited for 2026. And you know what? What's cool is like, especially with a lot of my clients, like I feel like we've done a lot of work to go in 2026. So like nothing feels like it's still unbuilt or still like whatever. And like even yesterday we were on a call and we were going through things. It was like, hey, you know what's cool about this is you have 3 weeks to get this dialed in, right? So it's like we don't have to just nail it today. It's like cool. Like they talked about a couple different morning routines and things they want to do. I was like, cool. Take the next 3 weeks and tweak it and then have your process. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's beautiful. Like instead of waking up January 1st, like here's my new things. Go.
Yeah, or wait for the invitation to the business planning CE class in February. The first week of February.
Like it's amazing when people don't do reviews and don't even ask themselves questions. They're like, they just keep doing the same thing over and over, and they're like, why do I keep getting the same stuff? This is weird. But it is, and even like you're saying, like should, like that's a great word to listen to when you're saying I shouldn't work Christmas Eve, or I should do this, or I shouldn't this, or it's like I think it's wonderful to take a step back and listen to the shoulds and go, okay.
Where did that come from?
Right. Is that coming from like this weird place of guilt? Is that coming because other people said I should or shouldn't do this? But like, am I going to do it or I'm not? So like investigate the shoulds, I think is a really cool activity to do.
Well, and for me, as I've done that and I investigate the thing, it's like I get energized by it.
I like working Christmas Eve and there's no downside. Like,
right.
Why not? That's what it is for you.
And, also too, like being sober, it's like all the Christmas parties and all the crazy ass, stuff or whatever. Yes. And it's ironic because actually back when I partied, I wouldn't have been invited to any of that. Like I would have not had anything like a welcome wagon to any public event like that.
Like there comes the dumpster fire.
Yeah. Or it would have been like, oh God, he's here again. And then they were like, what is he doing here? And so over time, I just I just got to a place where like I don't really participate in that.
Yeah.
And then I see the after the after party shots or whatever, and I'm like, oh wow, I totally forgot that was happening. Because it's like I will see it and scroll right past it. Versus where that's just what my life looked like every night, and there was no reason to celebrate.
Well, it's kind of like Mom said, like nothing good happens after 10 o'clock, and
confirm.
There was actually a lot of truth to that. It's like, do we need to do
if you
this?
push it to midnight,
actually help us? Yeah. Oh,
I couldn't tell you the last time that I actually like saw the New Year's Eve thing at midnight or whatever.
Oh no,
it's been decades.
Even with my kids, I'm like, let's watch the East Coast ball drop, and then that was great. So I'm out.
Exactly. So we whipped up a little deal here.
Yes.
I love, so like all these AI things or whatever, there are a handful that are incredibly useful.
They're so great. They're getting better and better, which is great.
And so here I was able to take one of the pre-existing brand kits that we did for Hero Nation and just morph one of the previous topics into like, and this is what I love because, man, one of the things I've loved about having you in here every week is, dude, I'm now quoting you, like intention and reflection.
I'm not sure if that's good or bad, but yes. Yeah.
So far. Well, I mean, you do keep it relatively PG-13.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I do.
So there's a safety buffer. There's a safety zone.
Yeah.
But like this, shedding our old selves, it's exactly what we were just talking about a second ago, where it's like, why is it that I have these like pre-baked things? Because it's like a lot of that is learned behavior, if not all.
100%. Well, and what's so good about this, like what outdated beliefs and habits, one of the questions I've loved asking this year especially is like, what belief am I holding on to that's making this harder than it needs to be? right? So like a belief that I'm not a morning person, or a belief that I'm not good at being a leader, or a belief that
I'm not techie.
I'm not that dude. How big is that? When people are like, I'm just not techie. I'm like, do you know how to drive a car? And I'm like, cool. You can figure out how to like put some clicks on a website. Like, people are like, I'm just not techie. I'm like, what? I watched you play Candy Crush for 6 hours. Like, you can figure out this app. You know what I mean? But it is about like, what belief am I holding on to, or have I actually made part of my identity that's making this harder than it needs to be?
So I had actually gone down the rabbit hole on that over the last, say, 2 weeks, like hardcore. And I had come, so I use GPT as sort of like my ongoing voice memo thing. Yeah. So it's like I can stream of consciousness into it and say like, okay, pick that apart. What was that all about? Or where's that coming from? And then I get a diagnostic back that says like, well, it seems like this, and this. And then I can all of a sudden I can start to pick it apart.
Correct.
And one of the things that I realized was it wasn't that I had a fear of success. It was like, yes, of course, I'm much more, or historically, I was way more accustomed to just shit being on fire and chaos. Every morning is a 5-alarm, fire drill.
Yes.
But one of the things that I realized was, it was never that I thought that I wouldn't be successful. It's I always couched it as later, like that there, it was. And it wasn't that I was consciously moving the goalpost or the goal line. It was that it was always a future event.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And mine was always, I need to work, like I need to earn it. And I still have to struggle with that. Like I got to earn it. I have to work really, almost to the point where like, if it's not like brutal, then I don't deserve like a drop of water, right? Like if I need to go through absolute hell, like I don't deserve that $1 reward.
Yes, if it's not the Rocky IV cutscene where he's like hip deep in Russian snow, like with a cart of rocks.
And like, I'm not afraid of doing hard work, but it doesn't always. That's not the only path. Like it doesn't always have to be insanely brutal.
Also, where does that come from on the where you don't even consider that it could be easy?
Correct.
That the idea of, well, that wasn't hard enough, so that can't be real.
Right.
And that takes me back to the moving goal line.
Yes.
Where it's like, oh, you thought it was, first and goal, actually, from the 7, but it's actually first and goal from the 13.
Yeah.
And nope.
Well, it's funny. I was thinking about this the other day, and it's interesting that Napoleon Hill did this in Think and Grow Rich a long, long time ago. And he said, you make a decree, like, hey, this year, or set a goal, kind of make a decree. This year, I'm going to make, $1 million by doing this kind of service, right? Right. And I'm excited for the universe to make that happen, whatever it is, or something better. And like, you would always leave this something better, right?
Dude, he's always
he's always like, hey, here's my goal. Here's what I'm willing to do for it. Like, I'm getting after it, or like whatever better, easier, more amazing, more optimal way you have for me, I'm open for that. And like, I just like, dude, you look at it like, what a genius, brilliant, like, hey, this is what I'm committed to. Like, I'm going to do the work. And yet, like, God, if you have a better, easier way, totally down for that. Like, I will walk through that door if you'd like me to.
Dude, and that hit me like right in the feels, because after, I've been sober for a couple minutes, and historically, one of the things with people that, literally have a dumpster fire of a life and then change.
Yes.
They have the preconceived notion of what it's going to be like if I don't do drugs and drink anymore or whatever. And then fast forward X number of years and they're like, wow, I shortchanged it. Boy, I totally sold that, way small.
Well, and I think that goes back to like redefining your identity, which is cool because like you're different than you used to be. Like you've evolved into a different version of you, which is awesome.
Yes.
And that version, it's like, hey, it's great to have good work ethic. I think you and I both have phenomenal work ethic, but I'm also not defined by having to work all the time to like hold on to that identity.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Although I still struggle with if there's downtime or if there's like, there's nothing on the calendar.
Yes. We're crashing.
Yeah. But I have structured it now to where I'm trying to be intentional in the sense of, okay, what do I really want to do in 2026 as far as I consider myself lucky and I'm grateful for the ability to like, I know how the things work.
Yep.
And I can take that and make something and then be like, hey, let's see if we can actually do this at scale.
Right.
So like my current obsession is the branding kits where it's like, okay, everything, we go and we shoot everything and then that gets taken care of and then that goes into the wood chipper.
Yeah.
But everything that comes out is branded to that individual.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, well, that makes sense as the next logical step for content at scale. Yeah. And so now I'm doing that and I'm trying to figure out like, okay, how can I do this to where then I can delegate that.
Yes.
So that's my new thing. It's like, make the first one and then delegate the rest.
Correct.
Because I used to get stuck in the thing where like, if I don't do it, it doesn't get done.
Correct.
Or I'm the only one that knows how to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and then I would either wear that like as some sort of badge of honor.
Yes. Well, and it's like a chef, you know, like eventually they'll create a plate and go like, hey, they created it. This is how this should look. But like, they're not doing every plating, right?
Yeah.
They're like, hey, remember we're supposed to but if you want to do every single plating, if you want to make everything, like, that's cool, but you're going to max out really quick.
The thing, Jiro Loves Sushi?
Yeah.
Where there's a documentary where like the guy.
Yeah, and the Subway.
Where like he has like some sort of tism, you know, where it's like clearly like he's got like an OCD thing or whatever.
Yeah.
But he dialed into it, and that's where his reward system is.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not that guy.
You know? Correct. Yeah.
And to think that I'm that guy, or that there's that insecurity too that is masked as proficiency.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, I'm going to dial this in, and then if I don't do it, you know, I'm the only one that can do it right.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you're just worried about what happens if you let go.
Yeah.
And again, learned behavior, and that's taken a couple minutes, you know.
Yeah.
But now I will say this, and shout out to Cruz, my right-hand man, Cruz. 4.5 years ago, whenever it was that he came into, you know, fell out of the sky into my life, you know, he was 22 years old and really didn't know his ass from third base. And then to see him as NCAA sideline photographer at the Tech conference championship,
so cool.
It's like, holy shit. Okay.
That's
so
awesome.
It's like, it's those, I don't know about you, but it's like sometimes those external events are the things that I need to say like, oh no, you're doing all right. You know? Like, look at your first Jedi. Look at your first Jedi apprentice and where he's, you know, and what he's done. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe I do kind of know what I'm doing.
So one of my clients called me yesterday. He said, hey, I'm calling you before I even call my business partner. I've been coaching him on a strategic project he's working on, and like he just gave himself a phenomenal. Like he'll probably make an extra $150,000 a year just because of the one conversation that he had yesterday that we've been working on for a couple weeks, right? Like, right. But he finally had the conversation, right? By the way, him a year and a half, 2 years ago, probably would have never. I wouldn't say been able to, but he wouldn't have done it for sure,
right?
You know what I mean? And now he's able to, and he's great. And he goes like, hell yes, and that's such a significant difference. But like you said, like some of it, like seeing that is like seeing Cruz do his thing, like seeing him do his like.
And
phenomenal.
You know, and all the stuff that we did over the last week. So like, you know, like while Cruz is out doing that stuff on the weekends, Austin and I like went road warrior mode, and literally. So I showed you the one clip before we went live, and partly the brand kit thing, but also it's proof of concept of taking this on the road, and we could do the set and interviews anywhere,
right?
And then if there's live, hot, dedicated internet, we can go live. And it's like, holy shit, because for about 6 months that was conceptual.
Yeah.
And then it becomes like this little piecemeal thing of like, okay, maybe we can do it. Okay, we did it over here under like these very specific circumstances. And then it's like, okay, how do you make that almost universal? Where, you know, have camera will travel. Have podcast will travel.
Absolutely.
And then we broadcast live from the Keller Williams Dallas Preston Road office.
So good.
So, and it was great because it was meta. It was a live podcast with a panel of podcasters talking about podcasts while podcasting.
Yes, that's so good.
And it was like, okay, this is awesome. And to be able to take that, first off, not only just to be able to do it, but then to be able to take that and then carve that up just like we do here. It's like, okay, now that's one of the things that gets me excited about. And that's what I'll be working on, like, you know, the week of Christmas and New Year's or whatever.
Absolutely.
But that's energizing to me, you know? And this is it, continuous evolution.
Absolutely.
Where, like, dude, this is 104 weeks that we've been doing this.
That's amazing.
To this week.
Crazy.
Because Restream actually gives us like a little stat update or whatever. So.
Well, and that's where like you make a plan, take action, and then in a specific intentional way review, make a little tweak, you know, and then do it again. And like that, but I think what most people miss on that circle is the intentional reflection.
Yes.
And like, all right, like just because I said it was going to, it goes into even, you know, some lost fallacy that we talked about a while back. Like just because you made a plan and you're following the plan doesn't mean it's still a good plan. Like every once in a while you need to go like, hey, we're doing it, but it's like, but that's not working. You're like, but we said we were going to do it. Well, sometimes just because you said you were going to do it doesn't mean you should just keep doing it.
You get points for that.
Yeah.
However, if you're like 3 degrees off on the compass and you go 10 10,000 miles, you are nowhere near where you meant to go.
How hellishly complicated is business and goal setting, and also like it's hard enough to figure out where you want to go, and then you're like, I'm going there and I'm doing it consistently. Like that should be enough. And it's like, oh no, there's new data coming in, so now we have to add adjusting. It's like, what the hell? Like, you know how hard it took me just to figure out where I wanted to go, and then to do it consistently. Like I should get 98% of the points. It's like, that's 50%.
Yeah, that's not how it works. And it's like once you turn that set of tumblers and realize that, it's always an ongoing process. And it's like you're building the plane in midair, and you get points for being in midair, but you got to keep flying.
You got to keep going.
And I think that's a lot of what happens because I'm always fascinated, especially in the affiliate world, when I talk to the other folks that do what I do. It's like, do you like the business? You know, because there's this weird like XY axis of creative person and personality and business person personality. And they're usually like this. And for me, I lucked out in that I like the business side more than I like the creative side.
Which is so rare because most people that are as good as you don't, they like you're welcome. They like the creative side is great, but they can't get the other piece behind them so they can produce great stuff.
Oh, that was an ass whipping. Make no mistake. It wasn't like I'm still not good at it. Or I'm still learning. Let's put it this way. I'm orders of magnitude better than I was when I started.
Yeah, for sure.
But robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Oh, absolutely. In every way.
Yeah,
right?
Don't tell John and Mark what I'm doing.
Yes.
Every way possible. And then also being creative and being on deadlines or whatever. I found out through trial and error and getting my ass handed to me that is an acquired skill.
Yeah.
And one of the things I think, and I could be wrong on this, but it's like my ability to be comfortable being uncomfortable was, first off, it was way higher than I thought it was.
Absolutely.
And then I realized like, oh, that's what kills people. You know, and so in a weird way, like having a totally dumpster fire life prior to getting sober came in handy. Where it's like, oh, it's been way worse than this.
Oh yeah. I know somebody that is like your ability to handle an incredibly high level of like basically uncertainty is pretty amazing. And to your point, I'm like, oh, this is so like what we're doing now. This is like the most certain I've ever been.
Yes, this is ironclad.
They're like, I don't know how you do this. This is so uncertain. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like you should have seen me like,
bro.
It was. I mean, that was crazy.
And even like when you tell your story, you know, where you're like, okay, you know, in the fetal position, just freaked out over this, that, and the other thing, and nothing is going right. And then it's like, okay, well, when folks get to that level, they crater.
Correct.
You know, and like for me,
they crater or they revert, right? They crater.
That's
or they just go like, hey, you know, it wasn't that bad before. I didn't have any employees, before I didn't have a schedule, before I didn't have a system, before I was, you know, when I wasn't tracking money, it wasn't that bad, right? So like they do, and what it is, they get stuck, then they settle. All right, they go, that wasn't actually that bad, and then they actually self-sabotage to stay there.
Yeah.
So then they actually almost make it so they can't.
There's a doom loop there that can be a self-fulfilling prophecy, and then depending on what your coping mechanisms are / bad habits, it could get like really, really. I mean, it could go as bad as humanly possible. And thankfully. I used to do that. Historically, I'd build it up, burn it down, build it up, burn it down. But that was always working for somebody else. And then I didn't really know that now it's kind of cool or whatever to be entrepreneurial or whatever. And it's like, dude, this was all by accident. This was not like I had some gigantic revelatory moment. It was literally getting ousted from the mortgage industry.
Who knew?
Well, and the irony there was my branch manager was hammered drunk at an event. And I got thrown under the bus before HR found out about all the ruckus.
Yeah, it's great.
So like I got fired in sobriety by a dude that was wasted. So it's like, yes, all right.
So funny.
But like this is one of the things that I have found now that I try to tell myself in the moment. It's like, oh, this is just part of the story, dude. It's an epic tale, you know. And it's like, this is part of the story. You'll love telling this later.
That's what I've learned.
It sucks right now, but it's great. And I always tell like the guys in recovery. The guys in recovery. I'm like, oh yeah, dude, it sucks right now, but if you live, you'll have a kick-ass story from the podium.
100%. Yes.
And if I can couch it in those terms, it's much easier to endure.
Well, and like kind of like what you were saying on one of the other ones we'll hit another time. Like you were talking about like superpowers or something, you know what what I mean? And yeah, right. Like it's funny that one of my clients now, she works with like elite neurodivergent CEOs, and I was like, who knew it was going to be kind of cool to be neurodivergent? Like as a child, I just thought I was never going to succeed at anything, right?
Yes.
Like you can pay attention to nothing,
right?
Yeah. One of my friends like. She's like, am I just boring to you? And I was like, because like I have a hard time paying attention for long. And I was like, no. I was like, it is not. Swear to God, it is not you. Like the paint could be drying, and I will get wildly distracted. Like this is me trying.
Yes,
it is not. Yeah. So who knew that was going to be cool one day?
And as a kid, you know, it was like, oh, he's rambunctious, or he's like, you know, he doesn't sit still, or he's a loudmouth or whatever. And it was that whole thing of boring. And I had this like double whammy. I do well on standardized tests. Just, you know, on the, like, at least back then, I don't know what it's like now, but back then on a standardized government test, it's like where you can kind of see the matrix if you're wired that way. But it was this double-edged sword of can't sit still, sarcastic little shit, and just, but he tests well. Right. So it's like, you have so much potential.
See, I was missing the test well piece. So that must have been nice to have a good, that's great. Tell us more about your tough childhood. Yeah.
Well, and you know, so it was this whole thing where my personality didn't meet the expectations.
Yes.
And so it was like this thing, it was always like this.
Yeah.
And as a result, later in life, perfect example is like the mortgage business or whatever. Yeah. Oh, I could do the thing, and it turns out like even though I hated math, if it's math that's tied to like my earnings, or if it's a puzzle that I get to kind of figure out, I can be really good at it. But oh, by the way, I hate this.
Yeah.
You know, that was never. It was almost like you were never allowed to say that.
Right. Yes.
You know?
No, you couldn't. You had to stay. You had to say the thing. All right. Words of wisdom for everybody going into the rest of this month.
Okay. Keep going.
Keep going.
Do not check out.
Don't check out.
It's like the whole Rocky thing is always a recurring, as a child of the 80s. So it's like it's a recurring theme.
Don't check out, but like get clear on the musts, and don't worry about everything. Get clear on the musts. And I love what you said earlier. Like listen to the shoulds. Like if you're saying I should do this, I should just evaluate, right? Even if it's like I should buy this person this thing. It's like should you or shouldn't you? Like take a breath and think about it, right?
Figure out where that comes from.
Yes.
And then I'll start. So what is the thing you're most grateful for 2025?
I am most grateful. I'll put a bow on it. I'm most grateful for the time I was able to spend with my kids, for the way that we were able to increase the business and get things really dialed in. And I was grateful at the beginning of this year to spend time with my mom before she passed. So I'm very grateful for that. Man, I'm excited about this next year. I think it's gonna be a year where we really level up in some different areas, and man, it's gonna be good. I
love it. And so I'm going to tie my answer into that, where you say we are going to level up, where it's like this thing, or this year 2025 I learned, and it's so cliched, it was one of the cliches that I railed against my entire life, that it's the people, and it's my friends. And so perfect example is last week at Metrotex, Ashley, Michelle, Teresa,
so fun.
And everybody there, and then Real Producers the very next day. It's like all of that is my friend group, and they're like doing cool shit, and like I just get to kind of like tag along and have fun with all the gimmicks. It's the people. It turns out it's the people.
It turns out.
So take it from an isolationist alcoholic who figured out the long way around the barn. It's the people.
It is the people.
All right, bro.
Proud of you,
I will
man.
see you in 2026.
See you in 2026.
Yes.